Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 469, what I'm sure to be the nicest trial over the next 100. and let's just jump on in and see what happens. And so, uh, not the strongest set of champions here. This Enlightenment Anivia, it's fine. I think it has some of the Yeti stuff to it. Going full Enlightenment with like trying to pick up karmas and get the 10 mana, it's like kind of meh. But Anivia is a strong enough champion, and the Yetis are quite strong, and Freylord's pretty good, and so I wouldn't fault you for trying to take that one for your 7. The one I probably would fault you with is this Vi down here. This smash and grab archetype is just all kinds of messed up. This is the one I got fairly salty about Bilgewater in the previous video in regards to the things the intern has done to Bilgewater. A lot of the same thing applies to Smash and Grab Vi. This is an archetype paired off with Twisted Fate. You're meant to get a bunch of value out of playing or drawing a bunch of cards. So if you turbocharge your draws with things like Hexcore Foundry, you can level up your Twisted Fate faster. And then on the Vi half of this, it focuses on those cards to where if you draw it, it costs 2 mana that turn. So things like Gotcha and things like the 4/3 that costs 2 mana if you drew it that turn. And then it was all centered on that 4 cost 3/3 that if you play a 2 cost card, you get to draw a fleeting card. And they just took that out of the archetype. So I don't know if the intern didn't get the memo on what this archetype was supposed to be doing and what the big key build around card was, but they just went and took it out of this archetype. So applause to the intern. Well done there. And so that does bring us back here to this Lucian, which is quite strong. I think Lucian still gets to hang out in tier 1 on our tier list, and this is a pretty decent start. I would expect starting out with the Egghead Researcher that we probably will see a handful of the dragon archetypes turn up, and so you can kind of look towards the dragon stuff early, knowing that this is here. But it's a little early to count our eggs before they hatch, and so let's at least stop and talk about Lucian a little bit, and then we'll move on from there. So we're just going to head over here to ftpbus.com. We're just going to be on the front page, or we'll be on the little expedition helper button in the navigation bar. We'll make our way to this drop down box in the expedition helper, and then we'll come down here to Lucian. Oh my god, cat keeps jumping on me. Like whenever I get kind of like close to my desk trying to block her from jumping up here, that's usually when she gets about halfway up through her jump, figures she can't make it, and then goes straight into claw mode. And so pretty sure here she is. She's made it up here today. Say what up, kitty. She's ready. She's ready to draft and stuff. But oh man, fucking cats, am I right? But anyways, back to the action here with Lucian. This, of course, it pairs off with Callista. We typically call this the dead allies archetype, as to where you're trying to see your allies die, and then that's how you flip your Lucian and Callista. And so Lucian has a couple of ways to go about it. The way that's easiest for both Lucian and Callista is pairing into Shadow Isles and trying to take Blighted Caretakers, but that's nonetheless not a requirement whatsoever. The other thing was Lucian can just kill off Senna as a way to get him leveled up quickly. And so that is, kind of the high-powered aspect of Lucian. It's not something I really like to pursue, though. The other thing going on with this is there's a lot of challengers, right? We do have the Fleet Feather Tracker. We have the Double Bird. Isn't Double Bird in here? There it is, Silverwing Vanguard. And so we have lots of these cheap bird-related challengers. And then if we take it a step further, we really like quick attack challengers, and so we do have Lucians and Senna already with quick attack. And so we typically try to find ways to just get some valuable combats. You can have these like super snowbally draws with Lucian as to where you'll play like a Fleet Feather Tracker on 1, a Lucian on 2, and then a Bright Steel Protector on 3 onto your Fleet Feather Tracker, and then it's just like super, super challenging for your opponent to ever positively interact with that board, and they just get domed for a ton of damage. And so those are the kind of things that I like to look for with this archetype. Again, like if we're going to take advantage of these little birds, we need things like barriers most commonly, and then if we're going to look to take advantage of Lucian Senna, we're looking for things to give them challenger. So that's where we're at kind of the high level. Let's see where this deck goes and see if we can't piece together anything else on those terms. Okay, and so a fairly interesting set here. There's a lot of cards within like Shadow Isles Lucian that I just don't like. You can find yourself chasing down the Cursed Keeper route, right? If you're trying to have like Hapless Aristocrats, Cursed Keepers, Blighted Caretakers, it all plays well with Lucian, but you do run into a lot of cards that are also fairly off theme. And so I can be like kind of sad about that. This is like not the super strongest combo here with Vigio, right? If we're looking to be fairly aggressive, right, with those bird style draws, just like Withering Mists and Despair are not what we're trying to do. And so I'm not like amped about these cards, but Vigio can be fine, right? If we're trying to flip our Lucian, we can have his Encroaching Mist summons. We can find that 3/3 that generates an Encroaching Mist. Like, we can find some style of ways to get this Lucian flipped with what works in this Vigio archetype. The second thing coming out of that is we could get some like minor synergies coming from the dragons, right? We already mentioned this Egghead Researcher and kind of the dragon factor. There's a bunch of dragons in this Vigio archetype as well, and they do some of the self-slay kind of things. And so I could see this being kind of an interesting pairing, being like a no Shyvana dragons deck, and see how that goes. That's potential. Also, a lot in the same vein, this Diana is kind of interesting from 2 points, right? If we're looking to do the quick attack challenger, early game aggression kind of thing, Diana is exceptionally good at that, right? Now that she especially has this Nightfall ability to where she can get challengers kind of over and over again. And then there is a dragon component to Targon, right, which we could potentially have show up. I'm not as excited about that with Diana, right? If we're gonna like have the side strategy be dragons, then I'd rather just draft Vigio. But we could potentially pull off something with Diana there. And then the one I'm least interested in is this Kennen. I'm just not really amped about adding in Bandle City. I think if we add in Bandle City, then we're just going to try and become a Poppy deck. It is kind of tough to pull off. There, are some nice things to adding in Bandle City, right? They tend to be very good at going wide, and then having cards like Dawn Speakers and having your units die for Lucian is kind of interesting. I would rather just see a different champion than Kennen, I think. But I might just be getting like hung up on this Bienemone. I think the Lightning Rush could be okay. It even kind of does stuff with Egghead Researcher, but we wouldn't likely be able to pull off any of the challenger type stuff. We would just be stuck looking into Macia. But the more and more I think about this Kennen, the more and more I think I'm interested. And so let's do it. Let's see how this goes. I'm kind of curious how this plays out. I don't know if I've ever drafted Lucian Bandle City. I think if you're going for your 7, this Vigio is probably the way to go. You don't have to be ultra aggressive with your Lucian. You can be a little more like mid-rangey, and then if you just throw him on your board, your opponent has to like super consider how aggressive they're going to be attacking into your boards. And so this is probably the best combo, this Lucian Vigio, but I want to see if we can't get some of this like go wide aspects of Bandle City paired up with Lucian and see how it plays out. And so, the Foxy Ninjas Kennen, let's get this one pulled up real quick. Where are you at? And so, there's at least some of the ideas here with, say, like Babbling Balladeers as to where we can just go wide with the Hungry Owlcats. Things like Otterpuss are probably okay. It's a nice turn 1 play that we don't care to trade away, and it replaces itself in terms of mana. And then the card I'm always excited for is Conchologist, which it's a pretty good addition from Demacia. If we're, say, finding, if we want to get Challenger on our units, but we don't want to play like actual cards to do it, if we like Conchologist into Confront or Conchologist into On Guard, that's not like too rare. I don't think that's a absurdity to think would be possible. And then, Kennen also has quick attack. And so if we are trying to do this quick attack challenger kind of thing, so where we can use Kennen, we can use Lucian, we can use Senna, and then we can generate some of the challenger-based cards with Conchologist. Like, it's not like the most ridiculously powerful thing you could be doing. I'm not trying to say that, but these are the kind of synergies that really push your deck up to the next level, as opposed to just playing a bunch of good cards, right? And so I think this is, it's a reasonable pairing. Again, I think if you're shooting for your 7, pairing Lucian with Vigio is probably your best bet. But I'm interested in giving this Kennen a try today. So, yeah, see down here, these are the kind of cards you're typically expecting with your Lucian, right? You can fall into the Cursed Keepers, and then the Rekindler is just fantastic at bringing back flipped Lucians and stuff. But that's not what we're chasing after today. I think we can pretty safely go with the Egghead Researcher Succession, just another pretty good early game package. And then, as we stack up on these Egghead Researchers, we really don't have to play too much top end, right? A lot of times we don't really care what dragon we're generating. It's just that, we've got this early interactive dude generating 5 mana worth of stuff. So he can be pretty nice. Coming out of this one, I'm pretty interested in the Yordle Captain. I did mention that, we might have to just kind of high roll into Mentors to see how that goes, but with the Demacia start and Bilgewater, it's not absurd to think that they'll make an appearance, and Yordle Captain is just exactly who we're looking for here, as we're trying to get some kind of payoff for going wide, right? We either want our dead units with Lucian, we want a full board for Dawn Speakers, and now we have the Yordle Captain to also help boost our smaller units. It's incredibly, incredibly powerful. Okay, so the Count of Mentors cards I'm not looking for. The Pompous Cavalier, Vanguard Lookout. Not interested in either of these. The Pompous Cavalier could technically be a little bit better than usual, given that we have the Captain and the Dawn Speakers and ways to help it grow, but I'm never particularly impressed with that guy. And so coming from this one, I'm going to go with the Redeemer Cavalier, the Chevalier, if you will. We need to pick up some spells, but there is the interactive element to the Cavalier, and so I'm happy enough to take this now, but we do need to pick up like something. It's just Quicken isn't terrible, especially as we're trying to be pretty aggressive and low to the ground here, but it's not like the strongest thing we could be looking for. Cavalier. I love it. I can't remember if I was talking about it in my bitch fest of a previous video, but people get really upset when you pronounce the names of the cards wrong. And I know I've just talked about Vigio quite a bit, and now we have the Cavalier here. Look at that. If you want to stop and pronounce this, it's Ke, C-H-E, Va, V-A, and then liar. So it's Cavalier, right? Oh, people are going to get super fucking salty over that stuff. But okay, moving forward, and this is good here with the Yordle Smith, right? We are looking to assemble some of this quick attack challenger stuff. We haven't seen too many challenger birds outside of the Silverwing Vanguard, but these should be turning up, right? As if you go and look at the Mentors Demacia, it only has like two commons in it. I think it might actually have 4 commons. It is a super small archetype. There it is, 3. Silverwing Vanguard, single combat, Vanguard Lookout. Those are the only commons within the Demacia half of Mentors, and so these should turn up pretty commonly, and then the Yordle Smith is a fine unit. I would love to pick up a card like Yordles in Arms. This could be the correct pick here. I don't even care about never having like the multi-region cards. It's all about just giving that big boost to all of your units. And this would be our first interactive card in Buster Shot, but why not just play like 30 units, right? Why not? I don't see anything wrong with that. We can continue on. I forgot one of our spells was actually Successions. It's our only interactivity right now is Lightning Rush. Oh, that's not great. I think we might have to branch out here. It's like the card I want the least out of all 6 of these is the Gruff Grenadier, but there is a back-to-back. I think back-to-back is just so likely to turn up. I think I'm going to let that one go. I'm looking more just towards this Quicken now to make sure we just have something. But as we kind of look at our curve, we don't have anything that costs more than 4. And so that brings me back to looking towards this Researcher. I think I'm just going to go with the Researcher out of this one. And then we'll find some interactivity somewhere. Like this, perfect. We definitely want to find one Minimorph before the end of the draft. We could look towards the Radiant Strike Vanguard Defender. I do really like Radiant Strike, but I think the Purple Berry Shake can do similar things in a pinch. Don't get me wrong, if Radiant Strike is like an 8, then Purple Berry Shake is like a 6, but these 1 mana combat tricks are incredibly important to have, and I'd rather have one than none. Okay, cool. Yordle Captain number 2 looks good to me. And then Bandle Commando, fantastic early game unit. This is the kind of card I was really considering when we were drafting Lucian, in that it's very cheap. Your opponent really has to interact with it, and then these Owlcats are good and tradable, and so we have a nice go wide aspect to come out here and boost our Lucian with. Okay, so here I'm kind of interested in Yordle Explorer. I just don't think we have the Yordle count to make that work, right? We have one Kennen, one Bandle Commando. The Owlcat is not a Yordle, so we only have 2. Smith is 3. Caviler is 4. And then, oh, my bad. This is the Cavalier, right? Cavalier. This is the Caviler. And so, I'm not sure who came up with the spelling on these, but, I feel like I need to go to the Google thing here. Hang on. Will this do a text to speech? Oh, shit. Not even close. Look at this. Are you ready?
Chevalier.
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 Also Cavalier since 2, but
Chevalier.
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 Yeah, you're Caviler. Got it. But there you go. Don't say you never came here and didn't learn anything, right? You most certainly have been out here doing the learning today. And so, anyways, what are we going to do with this one? I do really like Learn Bladekeeper in these style of decks. It gives us like really powerful turn 4 plays. 5 stats on 4 is pretty good, especially when you're getting to drop some stats onto Lucian or drop some stats onto Yordle Smith, so he just makes like everything have quick attack. But I feel like we need to pick up a Confront, right? We have 5 spells in our deck. 2 of them are Succession, so again, we only have like 3 interactive cards. So we have Purple Berry Shake, Lightning Rush, and Minimorph. I feel like we just have to have something. And so I'm going to pick up the Confront here. Maybe we'll get a Learn Bladekeeper later. But we got to just have like something to get into, help us win a combat or not die in a combat or survive a Mystic Shot, whatever we needed to do. Okay, coming out of this one, looking towards the Yordle Esquire, but I mean there is this Fleet Feather Tracker. We did just pick up the Bright Steel Protector, and we have the Yordle Smith to make quick attack challenges. I think I'm a little bit more interested in the Tracker than the Yordle Esquire, so I'm going to go with that one. Vanguard Bannerman. You are interesting. I don't think we're going to be able to pull that off, but it's certainly a powerful card and a go wide strategy. Like if we could trade like Bienemone for Vanguard Bannerman, I'd be like happy about it. But I think actually drafting it, we probably need to stay away from. What's our elite count at though? That would give us like 1, probably super low, right? Looks like the Succession makes elites, but if you're playing the Squire on turn 1, Succession won't do it. So we have like 3, the Redeemer, the Vanguard, and then the 1-drop. Something like that. And so that's not particularly compelling. And so out of all these cards, it's like I really want Conchologist, but we should probably pick up 1 Screeching Dragon, right? We've done, pretty decent in keeping the expensive cards out of our deck. But this is like the 1 expensive I would like to pick up. And geez, what a boomer pack here with the Yordle Captain back-to-back. That's pretty choice. I'm going to go ahead and snatch that one right up. And then our last one, before we get to the trade picks. I'm not opposed to War Chefs. These can be okay with the early plays like Fleet Feather Tracker. And it's just not super good at surviving a combat. I think I'm leaning towards just taking the Quicken Thunder Fist, but like the Thunder Fist is so bad. I don't really want it. What's our 3-drops look like? 1,000,000 Successions, which is good. I think we could pick up the Badger Bear. I don't really like playing multiple copies of Confront, and we already have 2. So let's take this Badger Bear stack. And okay, so can pick up Senna here. We don't have like great ways to get rid of her, right? We don't have any of the sacrifice cards, but I think she's going to be who we're looking for here. I don't intend on switching to drafting Poppy. I'm pretty sure Poppy will show up as our 3rd champion choice, but I think I want to just stick to Lucian with this one. It's probably the best idea for a deck like this to ignore the Lucians and then just switch into Poppy, but I'm here to draft Lucian today. We're going to have some fun with old Lucian Senna, and we draft the Poppies. That takes away takes away all the Lucians that we could have. Okay, so as you all know, we do live the pay-to-win life. We got to come out here, find some card to turn premium. Do we got any of these? Bandle City has been my my saving grace these days. Oh, Yordle Captain. Perfect. I thought... I thought I premiumed him before. I don't know. Sometimes you do this and it says purchase failed, but I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's premium. Still says 2320 up here. Let's see. Let's see once we draw him. I noticed that in the past. I did the premium thing. It said purchase failed, and then I tried it again, and it said purchase failed, and I just said, fuck this. Get it together, small indie company. And then once we got into the games, the premium was there. So we'll see if that's happened to the captain today. But yeah, not a bad little deck here. We have a lot of the kind of go wide stuff. I wish we had like a little bit more unit generation. I think we just have the one Balladeer and the one Bandle Commando, but we do have the two four-cost guy that we just tried to turn premium. We have the one thing that gives quick attack to your team, and then we have the Dawn Speakers, which should be pretty easy to activate. And so I think we have a lot of the power that we're looking for here. I think this should be good. After after that Bilgewater trial in the previous video, I deserve a round of Demacia. Give me some of that Demacia Bandle City just to have the feeling of good cards. Okay, up against old Kennen Lucian, or Kennen and Yasuo. Let's see what turns up here. It's kind of tempting to keep all of this. I like the idea of Kennen Confront. There should be tons of cards out of Bandle City Ionia that we can pull this off with. The only downside here is we don't have like a technical turn 2 play. Like ideally, we aren't going into like playing Kennen on 1, banking 2, and then on turn 3 playing Succession Confront. It's like I'd rather have the option to just open, but it's not the end of the world. Let's get rid of the Purple Berry Shake and see if we can't find another unit. See how premium this guy is? So we've drawn literal all of our top end. Look at this. Look at this. We got one 5-drop. We've drawn him. Got a handful of 4-drops. We picked one up. It can only be lower from here. Okay, so no 2, but again, this is kind of okay to just drop the Confront next turn, and the Badger Bear was a good addition for that, right? If there's not very many units in the game that the Badger Bear can't handle, even up through like turn 5. So I think this will be a good Confront onto Tornado Warrior. Now that he hit tough and we can't quick attack challenge him down. But nice little sequence here, right? If we're going to confront the Badger Bear. If this gets like a Twin Disciplines or something, it's not ideal. Because the curve we would like to pull off is like, say, playing Yordle Captain next turn. And then 2 turns from now, using the Brightsteel Protector to give the Badger Bear barrier. And then maybe we'll have another unit so everything gets these bonuses from the Captain. But the barrier is fine. Just gain that health. I don't mind that. I just it was gonna be sad if our Badger Bear died. Curious if he actually attacks here. Okay, that's the last unit I was expecting the mark to go on. Like, I'm more than happy to have Yordle Captain just sit around and be a +1/+1 generator. So this is kind of interesting. I was leaning towards just playing Succession, but now that we've picked up Fleet Feather Tracker, I think this is okay. If we can just send this into a trade, like if this gets to trade with a 3-drop or something, it's a pretty good deal. It can just straight up hit the Dancing Droplet now. So, okay. Opponent disagrees with what we're able to do with the Fleet Feather Tracker, and that's completely fine. But we have like 2 options here, right? We can hook Tornado Warrior, which should allow Kennen to still make good attacks. I think that's one of them that we need to hook. is Tornado Warrior. And then I think we should target down... Well, we can leave him with these elusives, right? We have enough challengers to come out and interact with this stuff. Now his blocks are pretty terrible on the rest of our team. And if he Twin Disciplines something, I don't think it's horrible. Right? I don't care to lose either of these challengers, which looks like we're already, kind of doing. But then if he, winning combats down here to the end isn't that painful. Still Tempest, absolutely. But I mean, it should be pretty tough for him to try and kill us with elusives. We got a mountain of stats on the board. He's not really in a race space. He's bringing him though. Let's pass. There's no way he's not attacking. I kind of want to throw something in front of Kennen so we can draw a card, but we would need to be hitting like double birds. Okay. Well, we're going to lead into an open here. This Dum-Dum, the Woodland Keeper, will lose its elusive, so it's not like as scary anymore. And good, he replays the Mourned. So we should be able to hook both of his Fuck me. I was looking at the board. I meant to play Screeching Dragon. Fuck. Well, it's not the end of the world, but it's not ideal. I'd feel much safer if we were trying to take the Mourned down as well. I think if he has a recall, though, he's just going to be like recalling Woodland Keeper. Not anymore. If he's blocking with the Mourned, this is going to get homecominged. Go get it. Interesting. So he's digging, huh? Okay. Well, that didn't turn out, like, horribly. Right? Not horribly. Okay. Down to 3 cards. I mean, we still have to worry about dumb stuff like Windfare Hatchling coming down. Now he has a way to give, +2 attack onto the droplet. I don't think it's like ultra scary here. Okay. Is it ultra scary? How scary are you now, Yasuo? He's only got 2 mana. Is there a world where he doesn't attack?
A hero sits before you.
That stance, sure. This is good as well, since it's going to return the Dum-Dum back to his hand. We can go to 1. The only way that they would be able to deal damage to face would be with Pokestick. And he hasn't played any Conchologist, so I think this is okay to fall to 1. That means now that Yasuo doesn't kill any of our units, then he misses out on a blocker here. He's going to have to block the Caviler with the Gust Monk. But now, how does this change? If we, say, confront Kennen, hook the Gust Monk, then Yasuo blocks the Cavalier. We're looking at 9... 8, 12, and Yordle Captain. But, so we would be lethal through 1, right? We'd be lethal through 1 stun / recall. We would not be lethal through 2. I think it's as good as it's going to get. We're just going to die next turn if he's got... because he has that elusive in his hand, right? I guess that would have been the argument to put a block in front of Yasuo. But this feels like it's probably the line that wins us the game most of the time. It's certainly not a guarantee, but he has to have 2 stuns now, right? Which is fairly tough to do. Okay, he's just playing cards. Cool. Excellent. The game has been won. We did it.
Storm has broken them.
All right, and then we're going to pick up more Lucians. There is the Poppy down here, right? We talked about Poppy. That's probably the way to go about this, but we're going for the funsies here today, and I'm having fun with this Lucian, and so I'm going to keep stacking in Lucians. And I thought a lot of that worked pretty well, right? The go wide stuff was happening. The challengers worked good when we needed them to. I like the idea here, especially like you can't count on Poppy to turn up all the time. So looking good, looking good. Welcome, Lucian. Right. So yeah, I'm curious. When this video comes out, there should be a patch notes, coming out soon. I think that's what Riot said that they were going to do. Maybe it's just I know that the 16th is when the new cards start to come out. I think that's right. It's usually on Thursdays, right, when they happen, and that's a Wednesday. The patch notes usually come out the day before, so there should be a patch notes on the 15th. Maybe it's just the card previews that should start this week. Have to go and see what's happening there. You can. I forget the totality of what's supposed to be turning up. I think Freylord is due a champion. And then there's still another Bandle City champion. I think there's supposed to be 3 in total. I can't fully remember how that was supposed to go. But interesting stuff. Interesting stuff.
You best believe I don't play.
All right, but let's get this going here against Ziggs Trist. He should be, on the more aggressive side of things like we're doing, but I'm kind of envisioning a pretty good quick attack challenge from Senna. So as he's like dropping things like Bomber Twins, we should be able to say like drop Senna this turn, and the next turn do Fleet Feather Tracker plus something, and get some good stuff happening across the board. All right, if we say play Senna here, the next turn we can play 3 mana worth of dudes and then still be able to bank something. I guess this is where it gets kind of meh, right? Let's do this. Let's drop the Owlcat. This'll all work in time, but this Owlcat kind of dissuades him from attacking with the Bomber Twins. Waking Sands, oh man. Rutta's going all in. Well, he's probably just not going to attack with the Bomber Twins, right? But how do we feel against all of this aggression? I'm getting like a little scared. So if we switch to like playing the Egghead Researcher to block this 5 damage, let's just take 5. I don't like it.
Let's make cookies.
Okay. So we didn't get to spend 1 mana here, but I think this is all in all pretty okay.
Don't fear the dark.
We can follow up with the Bandle Commando bird if we really want to get that mana going. It's kind of lame. Yeah, opponent, I'm talking to you. that was kind of lame. Well, at least he spent a card to do it. Oh, and he's just not doing anything on board now. Okay. We should be able to start getting these Yordle captains flowing through. What up, our friend Lucian? Lucian, are you ready to get a bonus? You're ready for this +1/+1 from the Yordle captain, aren't you? Oh, this is gonna be choice. I'm feeling good about this. The only thing I'm like kind of worried about here is that thing that lets you sacrifice a landmark to give something +4/+2. Well, if he's just doing it now, thanks for the heads up. Whew, okay, had to sneeze. And so, I want to get this thing with the Yordle Captain going, but I think we're just kind of in this mode to where if we don't die, then we're just not going to lose the game. And so, just don't lose until you win is what we tend to call this. And like, it just feels like, given the stuff that he's done here, like he's played the Waking Sands, he's gone really all in on this Waste Walker. We're just totally going to grind him out of cards as long as we don't die. So, Bouncing Bomb on Senna. That flips the Lucian. That's ballsy. Interesting. Senna! Remember to make the noise. So how do we go about this now? Like, I don't want to play Yordle Smith. I was thinking that, we can still just, like, confront the Waste Walker with the Owlcat, but, I mean, fuck, we might just lethal him here. Okay. So he's only got one card in hand. He can block our Lucian here, which kind of messes up the plays, but I think we just lethal like all of the time. Right, he has to block Lucian, take 6, we get the rally, and then we blast back for 1,000,000. I guess he could play a 1-drop. He did play a 1-drop, just not a relevant one. Cool. Excellent. Stay dead, you tell him, Lucian. Okay, this has been like a surprisingly decent Pompous Cavalier that we've had in this deck, but I don't think I really want it. I still have these ideas like with these previous games, like exactly like in that game, as to where we have the choices, right? I mean, I wasn't expecting him to Bouncing Bomb Senna with Lucian on the board. That was kind of like out of left field for me. But it's like we do have a lot of choices with this deck, though. If we want to, say, play Confront on Senna and then have Senna like Quick Attack Challenge down that unit, like that's the line that we were designing there. But once he actually flipped our Lucian, we were able to switch to like the different line to where we put the Confront on the sacrificable unit and then just slammed that unit in, for the sacrifice of the team for the greater good of the game. And being able to just like throw away a lot of those units makes me really interested in Dawn Speakers, right? As we're just out here just generating dum-dums with what's your name, Bandle Commando, and just throwing away Fleet Feather Trackers. I think these are going to be quite good, especially if we're able to get some more of this bird generation. Lucian Esquire, bird lawyer. Call up Charlie Kelly. See what see if he can give Lucian any tips on bird law. He's got so many bird friends in this one. He's got Double Bird. He's got Fleet Feather Tracker. That's Challenger Bird. He's got the Bandle Commandos out here generating Owlcats. It's another bird. Oh, don't get me wrong. It's apparently a fucking fae. This isn't a bird, but let's be real. It's a bird. Oh, man. Bird law is on the table. Not a bad curve. We won't trade this Fleet Feather Tracker if he just plays a dum-dum on turn 1. It is like if he plays the Fated unit, I bet we can attack and he won't block. But this is going to turn like higher value pretty quickly. Yeah, what up, bud? All the kitties coming to hang out. Come on. So what do we got? The Gift Giver? We won't attack into that. Oh, going the other way? Come on, bud. You can be on the internet. What does he have? Sting Officer? That's ultimately fairly scary. Might be able to pop one of our birds next turn. Let's see. Let's see if he attacks. He does. Okay. We'll try to get a Purple Berry Shake block in a turn if we need to. We should be able to just Yordle Smith down the Sting Officer now. Come on, dude. There we go. We got more kitties. Look at this. We got the other guy. You remember this one? He's a happy little fella. Happy little fella. Oh, Caitlin comes down? Okay. We got the purple berry shake to get through this. Blowout. Alright, so go ahead and hit on the flashbang trap to increase our salt level. But other than that, I'm not ultimately too worried here. And now he's added Pantheon, which is kind of interesting in that we can open quick attack challenge him down. But I mean, I just don't think we want to. Like he like Pantheon and Taric have to pay the tax, right? I call it the Taric tax, but now Pantheon's around and it's another thing. But if he wants to like play the gem, that's one less mana that he has to deal with this turn. I think we just like accept that the Pantheon's going to win the battle against the Fleet Feather Tracker, and we just slam. Battle Bonds is the worst that we could have happen, but we're still getting in for 1,000,000 damage here. I want to play the Researcher, see if we hit like a Challenger Dragon or something. Envious Fox is fine. Now we hit. Thinking about playing that gem. He gems the Gift Giver, he can put it in front of the Yordle Captain, which I feel like is a win. For us, not a win for him. Oh, he still just can't do that, right? Because we have the Yordle Smith.
On it and on 'em.
Looking for an anvil.
You spurn my gift.
Take him to 7. Okay. And we can just like super easily get re-wide here. We can still like block Pantheon again and just have a full board. Advanced Intel. Okay. Double Bird's pretty nice. So we can just throw stuff in front of these and try to not die. Then we can get the re-hooks next turn. So Pantheon comes in, I'll block him with the Egghead Researcher. That's the biggest blocker that we have at the moment. If we're just gonna like throw a unit away, let's just go ahead and add an Owlcat to the board. Yep.
Not the egg.
And I think, let's see like how close does this get us? We're gonna play Double Bird. Bird's gonna hook the 2 big units, and then the Gift Giver is going to block Senna, right? So then we can get in for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not enough damages if you've done the calculation. This gets us up to 10. So we're not like guaranteed lethal here. He can still draw some cards, but this gets us close. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Everybody's like, phew. FTP Bus did the mathematics. Oh man, he didn't even do it wrong. Oh shit. Alright. Look at me learning how to do a math or two. Alright, picking up a Lucian. Not excited about this Radiant Guardian. It's okay, right? We only have the 1/5 up to this point, but the other Senna is pretty good. Getting an additional copy there. Excellent. People saying, look at FTP Bus do them mathematics. Oh my god, he counted to 9 and didn't even do it wrong. Shit. I don't know why people even bother learning. What do you learn from any other kind of streamer / YouTube maker? Yeah, they aren't teaching you how to do those difficult maths. Go home and tell your mom what you learned today. You learned to add real good. Okay, so what are we doing here? We're getting rid of this Radiant. We're up against Braum Aurelion Soul. Braum is kind of meh, but curious what kind of Targon fixins are in here. I talked a lot of trash about 3 faction decks in the last video, and I'm still on board with that. I think they're trash. And so I get that there's like some Battle Scarsy cards that you can target Braum with, but they seem incredibly terrible in the face of Aurelion Soul. All right.
Don't get in my way.
You're really going to have to open next turn. I'm not happy about it. Ice Shard. Huh. Opponent is up to shenanigans. We can, like, let this Lucian fall. But we have another one in our hand. And I don't want our turn to be spent playing Lightning Rush. Like, if the extent of what he's going to do is to play another 1 damage thing, whatever that's called, then this is fine. This is great. This was like one of the best cards we could see come down. And so, like, yeah, I don't know what his angle was there. If he intended to play another like 1 damage thing or what, but this is pretty good. You may have to spend another trick just to try to save the wolf. Chooses not to. Okay, so how can we spend all of this mana, right? That's the new question. We probably just want to play Senna. And then I'm kind of envisioning like an open attack. We follow up with the Yordle Captain, and then on the next turn we could play both Lucian and Relentless Pursuit. Now that this dum-dum has come down, how does that change things? I don't think I like it.
There's a chill in the air. One minute catch.
It's a little unfortunate. Okay. We can build up a bit here. I mean, we have the back-to-backs and everything in hand. It's just this was not like a good place to have to open. And now opponent gets to enjoy the fun space of being in. And like, do you really want to attack into Senna with Lucian on the board?
Is on the top.
Let's keep our mana back. We have both back to back and mini morph. Real possibility of doing some big boom booms this turn.
This is fun, yes? I'm through waiting.
So what is his angle here? It's probably Troll Chant, right? I'm looking at, say, like we block here with Senna, we block down here with the War Chef, and then we play back to back on Lucian and the Chef. Then let's see, opponent Troll Chants to protect like these two, and he just loses down here with the Trapper. I think that's fine.
Can you stomach this?
This really reads like a Troll Chant. Oh, friend.
We're gonna need more coffins.
And look at this. We can't do it like right now, but we did just pick up the Viper Worm to get the rally onto the Egghead Researcher. We can just kill off the Researcher if we want. So I'm looking here. It's like we can open. He's probably just going to block Lucian. If he blocks Lucian and then has a Frostbite, we have Mini Morph in hand, but the Mini Morph won't protect him. Well, we can hit it. We can boost him with the War Chef, so we have to miss out on a little bit of damage, but I think that's okay. Is that where we want to be? We have 7 mana, then we'll follow up with Captain Viper Worm. I like it.
No one goes hungry.
Right, so if we Mini Morph the Yeti after a Frostbite, then we don't lose our Lucian. Excellent. Just a little something I like to call fun. Man, I didn't know that should have just been my favorite card ever made. Look at you.
Your best, okay? Head to the face. Can't fight on an
Okay, be a little short of lethal, but this board's getting aced, and then we're gonna Relentless Pursuit next turn. It's like this one should be pretty done. Cool. Felt good.
stay dead.
Okay, so what are we getting here? We can pick up additional Sennas, but I think I want to hang on to the Yordle Smith, right? It's pretty good with the amount of challengers that we have, right? We have the 2 Fleet Feather Trackers. We have the... where are you at? We have like 100 Silverwing Vanguards at this point. I think this is a keep over Senna. Let's get rid of the Bienemone. It's not a particularly strong card here in the Swiftwing Lancer. It's a nice piece of late game, you know. 5 drops are as late game as we really want to be. Although if we did pick up like a Cytheria or something, I'd be pretty stoked about that. Cytheria or Yordle Bird, whatever that one's called. Yordle Ranger, is that the one I'm thinking of? Okay, the old Blood on the Ice team. Ew, this is kind of gross. I ultimately worry about running into Ash decks with Senna. She's very good at frostbiting her. I think we just get rid of everything and look for 1s and 2s. That's not a bad start with the Tracker and the Protector. But kind of like that last game as to where the dude started to get a little bit bigger than us. We have to run into those kind of problems here as well. So I get a little scared, right? Even if we're doing our big thing where we have like Yordle Captain on board and play a Brightsteel Protector or something, then opponents just like, herder, here's my 5/5 Yeti. So it can be a bit of a struggle. There's also a world where we should have just attacked last turn. Like if he has a Tall Tales, this can be fairly brutal for us. But I don't think we quite have the means to just play around that stuff.
Ask me about dragons. I just may have an answer.
Wow.
How bothersome.
Did not expect to see this 3/1 come in for the Egghead.
You're covered.
And Tall Tales. he's gonna boom us. More realistically, it would just be like an Avarosian Trapper coming down here, but be kind of scary. Yeah, squeeze them butt cheeks for half a second here. Rosenthrall. Ooh. That does not seem ideal. Just nothing to do. Feels pretty good. He plays 2 do-nothing cards for the entirety of his turn.
I will unite the Freljord.
Okay, now the Ash attack is terrible.
Swiftly now.
Oh, you can't do that, my friend. You can't do that. Okay. So we have some options this turn. I'm going to start with this Researcher. I think we're just like good to start slamming in big on board. Like we can hook Ash and then Lightning Rush her a turn from now, but I'm not sure if that's gonna be relevant. Get to draw the card now with the Vanguard Redeemer. I don't approve of that. Alright, Ash has been boomed. Now we can just switch to like the big dragon plan, right? We don't have the ability to really go wide here. We just start adding Envolus Foxes. So I got the biggest of boys. Oh, he's big. He's boosted. All right. We might have to build to this this mini morph, but this starts to be a good space for the Dawn Speakers as well. Right, our units are going to start dying. I don't want to advertise that we have the Dawn Speakers just yet, though. The question is, do we want to... Like, what happens here? He attacks with all this stuff. Block the 5/6. We block the Spirit Walker. We put a dude in front of Yeti. And then we follow up with Dawn Speakers. I think that's okay. We can still, like, mini-morph this turn after playing the Captain. We just can't play the Dawn Speakers if that's how we want to finish. So let's see how this goes first. And then if he has something like a Whirling Death that's going to be problematic, then maybe we do drop a mini-morph. I guess this isn't a terrible mini-morph onto the Spirit Walker. We're just going to start drawing like hundreds of dragons. So I guess it is nice to keep like one dude around. Dragon. Another dragon. Oh, this only happens once a turn? I mean, I know it says the first time. When an ally with Fury kills... Oh, fuck. Okay. No. Still not terrible. Gonna get big damages in again next turn. We got another card draw with our Invalus Vox. Back to back. That's tempting. I feel like if he had a combat trick last turn, he would have just played it. We can lethal, right? Boomsies. Got it. Nice. Mark it in the W column. 1 for FTP bust. Okay, so we could pick up Garen. Not like super interested in Garen. He's good, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't really fit in like with any of the themes that we're doing. And so I think I want to hang on to Kennen, not trading Yordle Smith. The Balladeers is kind of interesting. It's just like our interactivity is so low that I've been like really happy that we have these confronts, right? It says we have 8 spells. We like our spell count to be like around 10, right? 9 to 12, 10 or so. 10 is the kind of guideline that I usually give at the end of the draft. So once you start adding in the other 6 cards, if you get up to like 11 or 12, fine. So like 8 isn't a good place to be, especially when 3 of them are, well, we're down to 2 of them being successions. And so I think I want to hang on to the confront. Like thematically, I would be okay with more Balladeers, but we got to have like some way to interact with our opponent. Cool. Let's get in that pre-final battle. Nothing too exciting happened over the weekend, you know. There was the Pro Bowl. I really wish in terms of the NFL they would change the Pro Bowl. Like, the game itself is like a glorified game of two-hand touch, which I completely get. I think it's absurd for those guys to go out there and risk injury for a meaningless game. It's not like... I think like some of the activities are fun. Like if you want to play like dodgeball, then... You know, there is the risk of injury. There's the risk of injury and getting in, like, out of bed every morning. But, you know, it's not like you're out there just, like, annihilating each other like it happens in a real game of football. And so that's what I don't think those guys should be doing. So I completely appreciate that they're out there on the field and sort of, like, pseudo-playing football. But I think it's just much more interesting when they do, like, the skills challenge. And it's like you can come up with, like, interesting ways to have these dudes go out there and compete without having it be, you know, let's give each other concussions. And I wish that they would just come up with something that isn't like as much of a joke of a football game. Like I think like the quarterback skills challenge is neat. Like you can do like the wide receiver slipping into like a ball pit or something, and since you can't have like a slam dunk contest, like I don't know what you're supposed to do with a an offensive lineman, but like I really just wish they would come up with something that wasn't like dudes practicing.
Scores to settle, cooks to kill. You know how it is.
All right, so action comes down. He can throw Dawn speakers in front of him. I'm curious what he does if we throw down Dawn speakers in terms of attacking. Like, does he really start to like trade this? I mean, the Bando Commando trade here is good, but like if he attacks with action, then we can get a free kind of block. I think we're just going to try and build up board. Okay, you can have the bird here. I'll allow it. And then we're going to look to play the Egghead Researcher in the confront, unless something different comes along. I think this is okay.
Dragons, such fascinating creatures.
So ideally, we should be able to confront the Egghead, take down the Bando Commando, get our Bando Commando in for damage, draw bird, play bird, and then let the Dawn Speaker start to do its thing.
Serving lead.
So this should be like hopefully a tough spot for him, right? If he has to spend like a sharpened resolve, that still feels like a win for us, right? We're gonna have a unit die. We get that 3 mana trick out of his hand, and then we still get the damage in. Yeah, this is starting to look okay. He brings the squad. How wide can we get this turn? We can play Yordle Captain plus Kennen for 2 units. He's not hitting that hard. Okay, I think just the 1 unit dying is fine. Then we get to get the ton of stats off of the Dawn Speakers.
Follow me. I know where I'm going.
Oh, interesting. I was pretty interested in getting this like boosted Egghead attack onto the action. We don't get to do that now, but interesting.
Got this from a side quest.
Our allies did not fall in vain.
Double bird? Okay. Then maybe we can get some good blocks next turn. See what happens. Right, if we have to say like add Brightsteel Protector next turn, or we can like back to back next turn. It's also tempting now to just attack with 1 unit and make one of our units die. I'm not like super interested in like emptying out his board. Like it's pretty tempting to just say like hook Tristana. And then if he wants to overwrite something, he can. I think I do want to keep the point of health from the Egghead, though. Yordle Contraption, okay. I was like, no, not another Siphoning Strike.
Got your back.
Okay. I mean, this seems like a pretty good spot, right? It's like what the deck was intended to do is finally coming together for a game. We did a lot of the bird attacks, and then now we're getting the kind of go wide Dawn Speakers grounded out kind of thing. Not sure if he'll attack here. It's okay if he doesn't. I definitely see this being a pretty bad attack for him, but if we just get the 3 bank going into next turn with back-to-back in hand, I think that's okay. Crescent Strike. Okay. Definitely feel better about this back-to-back now. His attacks are horrible. He could just be looking to like flip action. Do we want to intentionally lose a unit? Probably not at this point.
Let me see your technique.
Something like this. The trick I would ultimately worry about would be a shaped stone. Like, it's pretty easy for him to get +2 attack, and so if he gets +2 attack, he's going to have to put it on Tristana to win. Maybe, man. I'd almost rather just lose the... if it comes down to it, I'd actually almost rather just lose the Tristana, because our Egghead has the Challenger. Is he going to kill a unit? Cool. Appreciate it. Give me them stats. And we get to keep our challengers. That's pretty cool. So we have new decisions to make now. Like, of course, we'll draw another card, but do we want to play Lucian and start to get him going, or do we want to play the Swiftwing Lancer just to have like full control of the board, make sure we have a death somewhere, and then follow up with Lucian after? And I'm leaning towards just playing the Lucian. Get him going. We can definitely force a trade somewhere. He can start to play scarier things like Armored Elephants and the like. So I think it's okay seeing him come down. He drops B and a Manon. So I think that's where our like losing hook should be. Is putting our 4/3 onto B and a Manon. We'll hook the telescope with the Vanguard, sure. And hit with everything else. Alright, so Lucian is on the end. And we're going to do this. We'll risk the Dawn Speakers. It's not ultra important anymore. Yeah, I think this looks good. Brothers Bond. Okay. So that's going to be 3 ticks up onto Lucian. His board is empty. Now we can add the Screeching Dragon, follow up with Cadrigen next turn. And then 1 more unit death will flip Lucian. Okay, didn't hit the +2 cost anywhere. These both have can't block, can't block, can't block. Okay, well I still want to add the Screeching. Vanguard Redeemer might change some things, though. Does he ever attack? There's no way he ever attacks. He just is like, it's like, do you really want to attack and then just give us the rally? Oh, Lucian's our weakest bro? Sad day. Doesn't get the flip. Dang, dude. I feel for you. Okay. Fall to 8. He gets the Dum-Dum card. Then we should be able to open for 1 million. The question is, do we want to play Cadrigen before we open? And probably. How bad is this thing? Enemies vulnerable. Make a 0-cost copy so you can get a dude. Draw 2 your cards or less, or grow your champions. It's just like we do have the 9 between the Protector and the Redeemer. And we can still double hook whatever he plays. Oh, he didn't play his card? Okay.
We will not hesitate.
Can be some annoying stuff like Whirling Death, but I don't think we have to worry about too much. Just I didn't want to fall in the space to where he had like another Boomerang Blade or something. But this is fine. He loses his action to do a shitload of boosting onto the Warlord's Horde, but we can just slam. Jesus, he's got all the actions today.
Hello. Anyone want to join my party? Well, just do your best, okay?
How y'all feeling about this Bannerman?
Safeguard our citizens.
Missed. It's pretty close. We got to be higher than like a 50-50 for that thing to go off. Turtle Smith. Right.
Sing with the darkness
Okay.
in your heart.
So his attacks are booty. we know that we can get in and block everything pretty safe. Oh, he attacks? Why? Why would you ever attack here? Oh, your angle is to draw another Warlord's Horde. Oh.
Defend our banner.
FTP Bus does not agree with this attack. So he's got one card, right? This one card, man. It's just, there's like so much potential for this to go poorly if his one card is like a combat trick. I think that we just have to open.
Who's with me?
Flux Cadrigen takes 8. Okay.
Begone, wretch.
Did we do it? Alright. Oof. Yeah, I'm glad we got both angles of the deck at this point now, right? That was kind of what I had envisioned with a lot of this deck, was the Dawn Speakers, Yordle Captain style draws where we're just slamming a bunch of shit on the board, losing one unit, and then giving like +5/+5 of stats at the end of the turn. I was glad we got to show both angles of what I had in mind here. Oh boy, a Cythria, huh? The Cythria over the Yordle Captain. It's tough, right? In terms of the way that these cards function, whereas Cythria boosts what's already on board and Yordle Captain boosts what comes after him. I think we just have to pick up the Cythria here. We already have 3 captains, but it's interesting the way that those kind of interact in the backwards directions. Lots of good pickups here, but Cythria definitely strong. Just all the Cythria and a Bright Steel. I'm going to go with the Bright Steel out of this one. We do occasionally get to the super late game, and this guy has to win like 95% of the games that he comes down, and so happy to add that in, even though decent chance we don't really get to play it here. I love these Blade Keepers, glad to add that in. We are sending our curve up a little bit here, but hopefully it's not too painful. Bandle Commando is fine. I'll get rid of the one Confront now. This is like the premier early play that isn't Lucian, although it would look kind of okay to pick up more Confronts. I still want to hang on to this one. I don't want the Lancer. We'll skip over all these. On to this one. I mean, I could see an argument for picking up a second back-to-back. We already have one, right? But this is our only like 1-mana combat trick, so I think I want to hang on to that. I'll skip over all these. And the last one. Cataclysm would be interesting, but not for back-to-back. So let's skip over this trade as well. All right, man, tons of raw power that we just picked up here right at the end. Let's see if we can't carry this on to a victory. Not bad. This one's been fun. Man, I was so salty and sad and upset playing that Bilgewater run, and then getting into playing the fun cards is kind of nice. And it's like I get that someone has to be the worst faction, right? It's the way the game goes. There's always going to be a worst faction. There's always going to be a worst card in the game, um, and it's just it shouldn't feel bad to play that faction though, right? If you're like Demacia is the best faction in the game and they have like a normal 60% win rate, and then Bilgewater is the worst faction in the game and they have like a 45% win rate, sure, like that's unfortunate. But it's just like there's no moments in the game that feel good. Like, I shouldn't say that. Nothing about there's not no feel good moments. It's just there's so many more feels bad moments in terms of drafting and getting stuck in a lot of the Bilgewater gameplay that I wish that they would go in and clean some of that up. So it's tough. I forget. I wish I could find the article. I'd have to look it up. I don't know. It would be like the dregs of late '90s internet, and so it might be on like the Dojo Wayback Machine for Magic. But it's like someone at Wizards was talking about limited formats and like the understanding that bad cards are going to exist, and like Wizards will call a lot of cards like skill testers, that you'll look at it and it'll be like, you know, a 1/2 for 3 mana with some kind of real shitty ability, and it doesn't have like a great place in the game, but you know you're pretty far advanced in your gamesmanship and you can understand that that card isn't very good. But if you're a newer player to the game, that is kind of like a learning and a life advancing experience for you to get to play that game. And so they call those skill testers. But I think it might have been amongst an article like that. This is the last time I'll restart this. We'll play Poor Robot if nobody else is out there. But they were also saying that I believe it was 30%. 30% was the number of cards that are actually relevant in any given format. And it's not just limited. Like draft doesn't count as much. Draft was weird, but this was like comparing vintage, which is like all cards go, to standard, and comparing that to sealed deck. And there were only 30% of the cards were ever relevant. It was like never anything close to like 50 or 60% of the cards were ever relevant in any format, regardless of the size of the format. And so it is like, you know, a little unfortunate in terms of some of the cards out there not getting their day in the sun, but I still think it's a pretty fair place that, you know, you can play Bilgewater sometimes, but if you do have to play them, it just shouldn't feel bad. But running into this, like full Noxus, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't drop a 1-drop, but it makes me want to play Succession now, right? That we have this curve of Succession into Senna into Laurent Bladekeeper, and the Succession is able to come down and trade with stuff, right? To where if we play the Egghead, it's just a little bit slower. So I think in this matchup here, we would find ourselves being the control deck, right? I don't think that we're going to be the aggro against this Noxus deck, at least with the draw that they've put forth. This is kind of odd. He may try to get us here if he plays like the 5/1 challenger for 2 mana. It's like if he doesn't have anything, this is just so bad for him.
Blood for death and death for victory.
Right.
Missed a chance to run.
All right. The Lady of Blood. When a non-fleeting ally in hand is discarded, create a fleeting copy in hand. Okay. Just going to be, I'm thinking like the discard a card, kill the weakest enemy. That was what I was kind of envisioning this thing being. Still pretty good for us. I mean, it kills our Blade Keeper and it would just be a 2-for-1. Can block though. Can he block? No, that's a fast spell. Okay. And another one just comes right back down. Interesting sequencing. I haven't seen this interaction before. So now how do we feel about this? Like, I'm kind of feeling like I want to Bright Steel the Senna and then we just shut down everything that they're trying to do. And so we can say like play Brightsteel on Senna. We could follow up with either Bando Commando or Egghead or War Chefs, whichever one we'll have to think about. But we do not spend all of our mana that way. So Senna can't block. That makes the idea of the Protector a lot less appealing, but the Screeching Dragon is quite strong on this board. I'll take the 7 if he swings with everybody. This is okay. Still think we're a control deck. We'll block here if this is his only attack. If he hits with the Reckoner, we'll block it as well. This ability is kind of annoying, right? He'll get the Risen Reckoner that can put the can't block thing on our dudes, but I think this is okay. Just don't die. Okay, I'm looking to Bando Commando, Egghead Researcher. That's kind of nice to have these one-attack units on the board to soak up some of this these dumb abilities and soak up the Roar of the Scions, whatever those are called. And so we'll continue on. Here's the Egghead. We'll drop the Brightsteel. Can this thing block? It appears as though it can. When I'm summoned, do stuff. Yeah, he does. He can block. What you got for us, Deuterino? Culling Strike. Okay, that seems very positive. Okay, and if he wants to trade his 4/3 for the Brightsteel Protector, that feels fantastic. He can replay that dump card. whatever this thing is called, Risen Reckoner dump card. But that's fine. It'll fall onto the Egghead now. Now we're just doing dragon things. I don't know how the things come to mind, but there is the line, do you like dragons? And then, of course, the person goes, what? What do you mean dragons? And you say, Dragon, D's nuts. Do y'all know that one? Are you familiar with that? Welcome to the video. All right, here we're just getting another blocker for this 5/2. What are we doing here? We're not losing until we win. Kennen probably come down. I'm gonna play Kennen in the Swiftwing. Some people get upset about the concept and the phrase of "don't lose until you win." It's not entirely intuitive, but we're just trying to prevent the absolute most damage we can to ourselves, because we know between our cards like Swiftwing Lancer generating a unit, our Egghead Researchers generating units, that as long as our opponent doesn't kill us, if he gets really aggro Noxus draws, if we can just draw out the game forever, then we're going to win. So, right, he's getting drained out of cards, our board is building, we have 12 mana worth of cards in hand, and we're about to pick up an Elite. Captain Eureka was fucking bonkers. This should be enough to just take this over. I'll hang on to the Eureka as Scion protection. This is the only kind of thing I'm particularly worried about now. The Firebrand is okay in the face of Armored Elephant. But yeah, like a Scion or a Darius. He's not playing Darius, but the same thing applies. That's the kind of cards we'd be worried about here. Got him. Cool. Oof, okay. Nice little 7 winner. I'm glad that even as we looked at those packs and like we're calling out other decks that would probably be the strongest way to go about this, that even our kind of side strategy is what took this to not only a 7 winner, but a 7-0. And so, yeah, that was pretty fun. That was cool. And so I think all of the ideas there with Lucian were pretty much touched on, right? We talked about Vigio probably being the strongest choice. You do have a lot of the kill your own units kind of archetype things within Shadow Isles. That's where you're going to find like your Cursed Keeper combos or Chronicler of Ruin combos using Blighted Caretaker to get 3 kills. And then from Vigio, we were finding things like the Ephemeral generation. And so you can play a 3/3, get the rando Ephemeral, and then just incidentally tick up your Lucian. And so, lots of combos rolling through there, lots of ways to just kill Senna, right? So you can kill her in combat as opposed to just relying on your opponent to do it. And all very reasonable combos within Shadow Isles. Very reasonable things with that Vigio there. And so we, in Pack 2, we decided to go with the Kennen instead. I had in mind this really kind of like go wide strategy, right? We started with Dawn Speakers. Lucian loves seeing all of your units die off. And so the next step to that was like, well, what if we play Kennens and all these go wides and the bird generation? That stuff should work with Lucian, right? Say you're in Pack 1, you open up Lucian, Pack 2 rolls around, and you have to get a champion that just doesn't work. I don't know who that would be, like a bad Thresh or something, I don't know. But you want to go with the Kennen. That's what I was kind of interested in here. And there's kind of like 2 things coming out of that, right? As you come down here at pick 4, that's where the Pompous Cavalier Yordle Captain turned up. If you are drafting Vandal City Demacia, there's a good chance you can just switch to Poppy, and a very good chance you just want to switch to Poppy. And so you can just start picking up these Mentors packs as they turn up. And you can usually just have Poppy turn up as your champion pick 3, which we saw here. And we did this also like 3 or 4 videos with a Quinn build around, right? We were building around Quinn. We saw the Mentors pack show up like pick 4, pick 5, pick 6 somewhere. And then after taking the Mentors, they continued to show up the rest of the way. We pivoted into a Poppy deck. And I do still believe that Poppy would probably be the choice to go with here. I think moving over to her is the strongest thing that you could have done. But, we were looking to just explore Lucian and build around Lucian and see how Lucian works with Vandal City. And so I didn't want to just be like, oh, well, here's Poppy, So we stayed away from that. But, a lot of these themes really came together nicely, right? The big thing we talked about in terms of Lucian is having ways to get quick attack challenges. So you have your Lucians, you have your Sennas, you want to find ways to give them quick attack, you want to find ways to give them challenger. Confront is the easy way to find it. On guard doesn't turn up nearly as much as it used to. I think they removed it from a lot of archetypes. And then if we had come across a Conchologist generating spells that cost 3 mana or less makes you fairly likely to hit Confront or On Guard. And so that was kind of the idea here. Kennen helped us kind of push out into that strategy as well, since he has quick attack, and then finding things like the Yordle Smith also helped expand that out, as we could give our other birds challengers. And so we had this quick attack challenger aspect to it, and then we also had this go wide, grow our units kind of strategy. That's where we were, really initially thinking about with this deck, is we had the Dawn Speakers, we had the Lucian, we picked up Vandal City, came down here and picked up things like Yordle Captain. Yordle Smith plays fantastically, that kind of idea. I thought this was a really great collection of cards that we were able to assemble together. A really nice piece of synergy that we could do. And it's one of the real bonuses to understanding what's going on with the archetypes and having some vision as far as where your deck can go, as opposed to just picking up the partner pairing in the Vigio and running with it that way. So thought it was a pretty cool trial. I had a lot of fun with that one. We got some flipped Lucians, we got some bird law references and everything. I thought it was all good and well, and I really enjoyed that one. Hope you all did too. And so let's jump back up here to the front. I don't think we have any rewards. Looks like we do not. So your reward for the day, if you swing over to Twitter and look at the Play Runeterra page, there may or may not be spoilers for the new cards out there. They should start, soon. If the new cards are coming out on the 16th, the spoiler season should kick up around now. And then the way things have happened across the past sets are everything is typically spoiled by the following Monday. It feels like they do like the champion reveals throughout the week, and then on like Monday or Tuesday, Mobalytics will get the full card list, and then on like Wednesday or so, the cards will come out. So that's your treat. Go out there, see what's happening on the old Twitter, and that is going to do it for us today. So hope everyone enjoyed the trial. You learned a little bit about with mathematics, learned a little bit about bird law. You had a good time watching and learned another thing or two along the way. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.